So I think the most frequently asked question from my players is, how can I bridge the gap between my training and in-game performance? So a common thing I hear from my players is, I'm working out all the time. I'm shooting 500 shots a day. I'm doing these drills. How come when I get in the game, I can't replicate my training? What am I doing wrong? They kind of want to know, is there some secret drill? Is there some better way of training? But basically, they want to know how they can transfer their hard work onto the court. First, I want to ask the player, what do you think the answer is? I want to hear their answer and how they critically think. You're the one going to the gym every day and practicing 1,000, taking 1,000 shots. Why would you keep, if you were to do that and you were to take 1,000 shots and your shot wasn't getting any better, would you just keep doing it over and over and over again? If your shot just like kept getting worse?
Probably
no,
not.
like probably not, right? So I'm not saying it's wrong, but I would first ask them why. Like, why do you think it's not working? Okay. So there's several things that could be why it's not working. It could be a technical perspective. So when I say technical, it could be their shot mechanics. So, we talked about shooting has some invariant qualities. If we do talk about Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kyrie, Ray Allen, all these great shooters, Kyle Korver, their shots all have some qualities that are pretty similar, right? They don't use too much offhand. They're all like relatively, at a certain degree here, and they all relatively follow through. They all bend their knees, bend at the hips, right? But maybe your shot looks like some other structure or shape that is not beneficial to shooting a basketball, right? So that's, one thing that we would look at. The second thing I would ask them is, how are you shooting those 1,000 shots, right? We all know the second you go into a game and someone is trying to block your shot, that shot feels like a very different speed than the shot that you're practicing, correct? Also, when you're shooting in practice, you might shoot 10 makes or 20 makes from one spot. Well, guess what? In a game, unless you're a star player, if you're just a role player, you might shoot one shot in the corner, run back on defense, play defense another possession, run back on offense, not get a possession, run back on defense, and then come back, pass, get it, and then maybe shoot the ball, right? So the time in between your shots isn't the same. You don't get 10 shots to find your rhythm. So the most important thing, the crux of what you're asking is how are you practicing? So with those players, I'm asking, are you adding a lot of variation into your shooting? So are you practicing shooting contested? Someone running at you, someone trying to actually block your shot. Maybe your teammate passes the ball and tries to block your shot. Maybe he tries to put his hand and cover your eyesight. Maybe he tries to swipe at you really quick. Maybe he jumps with two hands to block the vision of the rim. What type of footwork? Are you just shooting catch and shoots? Or are you practice left-right footwork, right-left footwork? Are you practicing jump stop footwork, 2 feet into your shot? Are you practicing different directions? Are you practicing sprinting to your right, sprinting to your left, sprinting backwards, running forward while dribbling with the ball in your right hand, running forward with the ball in your left hand? Are you practicing, with some of my players who are a little bit not as good at shooting, they struggle with hesitation. They might have so their teammate might have passed them the ball. They might have been open and they hesitated for 1 second, and now the defender wasn't always there, but now the defender is kind of there in between. The defender knows this person can't shoot, so the defender puts their hand down, and now this person who initially had an open shot doesn't have an open shot, but now it's an open shot. So we even practice that situation. I'll pass him the ball, he'll pump fake, then he'll jab, and then I'll have him hold the ball for half a second, and then can he go up into a shot? Can we break up your rhythm? Can we work on the speed of your shot? So sometimes I'll tell my athletes, like, the ball is hot lava. The second you touch the ball, you got to get rid of it. You got to shoot as fast as you can. Do you have the ability to shoot at different arcs, right? There's a concept called degeneracy. It's not a bad term. It's from biology. The concept just means being able to achieve the same outcome in as many ways as we can. So if the perfect example would be Steph Curry's warm up before a game. He can shoot right, left, left, right. He can shoot with the shoulders facing this way. He can shoot with the shoulders facing to his left. He can shoot with a super high arc. He can shoot with a super flat arc. He can shoot off his right foot only, his left foot only. He can shoot go into his right, go into his left. From the logo, with one hand hook shot with his right, one hand hook shot with his left. Layup. So for me, if you're just taking 1,000 shots, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, catch and shoot, it's very obvious why your shot is not transfer. And then the last thing that most people don't talk about is the psychological factors of a game. There's pressure, right? So in a game, if there's 1,000 people or 10,000 people and there's people yelling, there's the environmental factor of a game, right? So how can we simulate that in practice is very important. To create a little bit of pressure, we can create competition with your teammates. I can create a drill where I say, okay, you guys together, you guys have to hit 5 in a row, and I tell the player who struggles with pressure, I can say, okay, player 1, he has to hit the 5th shot no matter what. Okay, so no matter what, when you guys, or you can do both. You can do consecutive shooting, so you got to make 5 in a row, or we can do like first to make 5 shots, but the last shot has to be made by this player, right? So we want to create pressure situations, or in other scenarios, the last thing we'll do in a workout was I'll draw up a play and I'll set up my defenders wherever, and I'll tell my offensive player or the player I'm training, I'll say, there's 3 seconds left. You guys are down by 2. You choose what you want, and you only get 1 shot. So if you miss this shot, practice is over. The workout's over, and you shoot 2 free throws. That's it. There's no like replay. You'll have to try it tomorrow again. And so that's not exactly the same as a game, if that makes sense. But similar to when you take a vaccine is to help inoculate you against X disease that you're taking the vaccine for. So stress is also task specific. So stress is, we need to train you in the situation where you're going to see in the game. So what I'm saying is, like, someone who's in the army, who's really good at handling stress, if you put him in game 7 of the NBA finals, that doesn't mean he's going to be good on the basketball court, right? You still have to be good at the skill. Vice versa, if we took Kobe Bryant and we put him in the army and put him in like a firefight situation with guns, I think he would be very nervous, right? Yeah. So stress is not just, it's still task specific. So we want to train them in the stressful situation that they're going to see in game, if that makes sense. So, so all those factors, the technical element, how they shoot, how they're training, how they're thinking about their shooting method, and then the psychological component of shooting, which is very, very important as well.